Everyone. As you know, the Federal Court of Appeal has delivered the decision on applications made by the Chilkoot, as well as the Tsleil-Waututh, Coldwater, and Squamish nations with respect to the Trans Mountain Expansion Project. We welcome today's decision by the Court. Today's ruling affirms that renewed consultations with Indigenous communities addressed the issues identified by the Federal Court of Appeal in its August 2018 decision. It affirms that we delivered on our duty to consult through a meaningful two-way dialogue. This included listening to concerns, responding and finding solutions, accommodations to address and mitigate those concerns wherever possible. And most importantly, it meant moving forward in partnership with Indigenous communities. I want to say clearly to those who are disappointed with today's court decision, we see you and we hear you. As construction continues to move forward, Canada will continue to engage with you and your communities. We will take every step that we can to ensure that this project moves forward in the right way. Because that is the only way that we are going to get major projects built in Canada in the 21st century, when we earn public trust, when we address environmental, Indigenous peoples, and local communities' concerns. This project is in the public interest. It's already created thousands of good, well-paying jobs. With TMX, we're going to get more of our valuable natural resources to global markets. We're going to generate revenues that go straight towards clean energy development, lowering our emissions. We're going to advance reconciliation with Indigenous peoples, including through economic opportunities. And I would remiss, before I hand this over to Minister Morneau, that I do not acknowledge not only the teams in the government across many departments that have worked so hard on this, but particularly our friend and colleague Amarjeet Sohi, who put a lot into this. Thank you very much. Bill, over to you.
Good afternoon. I want to just follow on what Seamus has talked about to say that we're obviously pleased with the conclusion of the Federal Court of Appeal on the Trans Mountain project. You know, we see this project as one that will enable us to get our resources to international markets, something that will ensure that we can get a fair price for our resources. We also know, of course, that this is a project that can deliver significant economic benefit to Alberta, economic benefit to Canadians across the country. And importantly, what we've said is that we're going to take that economic benefit and put it back into the environment. We're going to take it and make sure that we can put that money into green projects that will further our environmental goals. We estimate that up to about $500 million of economic benefit will come from the project and from the proceeds that come to the government. And that's our commitment. We're going to make sure that we use that money in a way that will further our overall climate change goals. We also know that this project gives us the opportunity to work together with Indigenous peoples. We've gone through a consultation, but more importantly than that, we see that the future of this project will allow us to engage Indigenous peoples potentially in some form of equity participation. We've had important consultations in that regard already, and we look forward to continuing those consultations moving forward.
Does this remove all the...
Finally, just as Seamus mentioned, we are really pleased that this project is moving forward. I mean, Canadians need to know that there's people in Alberta, there are people in British Columbia already working on this project, thousands of Canadians, and that creates a good opportunity right now for people who are frankly experiencing some challenge. Si vous voulez, je peux le dire en français, votre avis.
On va vous poser des questions en français.
Okay,
on
voilà.
va juste savoir sur la question des Autochtones, justement, vous dites que ça peut être une occasion d'augmenter leur participation. Où en êtes-vous dans la négociation de participation pour revendre Trans Mountain?
Jusque maintenant, ce n'est pas une négociation. Nous avons une consultation avec les peuples autochtones pour considérer comment nous pouvons avoir un niveau de participation avec les peuples autochtones dans le projet, dans l'avenir. Et on va continuer avec nos consultations dans l'avenir proche. Et ça, c'est quelque chose de très important pour assurer que les gens qui sont impliqués, bien sûr, mais les peuples autochtones plus grand peut avoir une participation dans le projet.
Is this the final barrier?
Does this remove all obstacles then, or is there something else on the horizon with public protests, another legal challenge? Are all obstacles gone?
This is an important milestone. Obviously, we're pleased to see that the consultations we had with Indigenous peoples were looked at to be robust and appropriate. There will always be more project hurdles. Projects that are big and complicated like this present challenges, but we as a government have resolved to make sure that we can get our resources to international markets, that we can get a fair price, and that we can do it in a way that will advance our climate change goals.
Can you be specific?
Comment?
C'est une décision qui satisfait votre gouvernement?
Les décisions ont été très claires. Nous avons eu de décisions que notre approche était robuste, notre approche était appropriée. Donc nous sommes heureux avec la décision. Et bien sûr, on va avoir toujours les défis, mais important pour nous, et nous avons un processus pour continuer avec le projet qui va aider notre économie et aider quand même notre but environnemental.
What does this mean specifically?
You're saying this decision on its own is not enough for you to be able to start negotiations. You're still not at that point of starting negotiations for the sale of the project.
I think these two issues are actually separate. What we've been doing over the course of the last number of months is having consultations with Indigenous peoples to talk about how we can ensure that they have participation in the project. Those discussions, we're going to be moving into a next phase. It's unrelated to this decision, but we believe that it's important that Indigenous people have the opportunity to participate in the project economically, and that actually helps us in our overall reconciliation goals.
What does the court decision say?
Do you expect an appeal to this decision? There's a 60-day time period, and Minister O'Regan, if you can answer as well. Are you anticipating an appeal from the Aboriginal groups? I understand there's a 60-day time frame.
No, we don't know. I mean, we'll leave that to them. I think that what's really important about today is to anybody who says that you can't get major projects built in this country, you can. You can if you roll your sleeves up and you work hard and you do it the right way. And this is an affirmation of that.
Can you tell me what the decision from the court says about the government's right or duty to consult versus a veto from First Nations on these kind of big projects? What is the balance?
I think what the court's decision says is that if you go about things the right way, if consultations are meaningful and in good faith, and you roll up your sleeves and you do the work and listen and allow those listenings and those conversations to affect what you do and to make sure that you do it the right way, you can get stuff done.
And what will you be doing specifically? What will you be doing specifically to consult and continuing talking to First Nations groups who are concerned about the project? Specifically, how will you engage them, and what role will they play?
We'll continue to do what we're doing, which substantive conversations. This has worked out well. We got a ruling in August of 2018. With some specific recommendations on how we should go about things. What this demonstrates is courts have acknowledged that we listened and that we want to do things right. And the way to do them is not to try and subvert consultations, but to do them in a meaningful and real way. And when you do that, you can get things built in this country.
Where is the work now? What kind of work is going on in this pipeline?
Work will continue. Well, right now,
Specifically, what's happening?
I'll let the Minister of Finance speak to that.
What's happened so far?
We obviously we're pleased that work has already started. It started in Alberta and in British Columbia. So,
What are they doing?
The specifics of what people are doing, they're actually out there right now, not only clearing paths, but they're actually laying pipe. We're doing work at the Burnaby terminal as well. So there's work going on in both those two provinces, and there will continue to be work going on, which will increase the number of Canadians in Alberta and British Columbia and across the country
Will this
that are
accelerate
engaged
the
in this
work?
project.
This decision?
Thank you very much.
I just want to ask you, Mr.
Thanks very much. Thanks very much.
Mr. Morneau,
How does this decision affect the potential sale of the pipeline?
how hard are you